Alright friends, here's our answer key. Tonight we have a subtraction problem of 30,001 minus 29,998. So I'm going to get a small number because I know 29,000 is pretty close to 30,000. So let's start subtracting. 1 minus 8 I can't do without getting a negative number. So I can't borrow from all these places with a 0, so I have to go to the 3 and make that a 2. Now I'm going to have to hop over and do a lot of borrowing. The 0 becomes a 10. I have to borrow. The 10 becomes a 9. This 0 becomes a 10. I have to borrow again. Becomes a 9. This 0 becomes a 10. I've got to borrow again. So this becomes a 9. And this 1, I add a 10 to it to make it 11. So now I subtract 11 minus 8. So I can also count up 8, 9, 10, 11. That's 3. 9 minus 9 is 0. 9 minus 9 is 0. 9 minus 9 is 0. 2 minus 2 is 0. The difference of those two numbers is 3. Next question shows algebra. I have to figure out what goes in these blanks to make 24. So I have to figure out what this number is. Something times 3 times 4 equals 24. So what I'm thinking in my head is, what times 4 equals 24? Well, I know 6 times 4 equals 24. So how can I make this equal 6? Well, 3 times what equals 6? 3 times 2 equals 6. Alright, so filled in that blank. Next one. Blank times 6 equals 6 times 4 times 2. So I have to solve on this side to see what my answer is. So 6 times 4 is 24. 24 times 2 is 48. And I could solve that over here for you. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 2 is 4. So this side equals 48. So I have to figure out what times 6 is going to give me 48. Well, if I don't know it off the top of my head, I can use my multiplication chart, go down my 6's so I get to 48, and my other factor is 8. So what goes in that blank is 8, because when I multiply 6 times 8, I get 48. The next side. 12 times blank equals 12 plus 12 plus 12. Well, I know repeated addition equals multiplication. So 12 repeated 3 times equals 12 times 3. Alright, the next square is asking me to estimate to find which products could be on the number line and then label the points on the number line. My number line shows me 20,000 and 30,000. So let's start. 731 times 37. I have to estimate both factors. 731 is closer to 700. 37 is closer to 40. So now I multiply. I can cover up my zeros. 7 times 4 is 28. And I have 1, 2, 3 zeros. 1, 2, 3. Now I'll put my comma. 28,000. Well, my midpoint is going to be 25,000. 28,000 is going to be kind of over here, so I'm going to put A there. B, 314 times 59. I'm going to estimate, then multiply. 314 estimates to 300. 59 is closer to 60. Now I multiply. Cover up my zeros. 3 times 6 is 18. And I have 3 zeros on there. 1, 2, 3. 18,000. Well, there's no room to put that on the number line. Next one. 39 times 613. First I'm going to estimate, then multiply. 39 is closer to 40. 613 is closer to 600. Now I'm going to multiply. 4 times 6 is 24. There's 3 zeros. 1, 2, 3. 24,000. That can go on my number line. It's going to go right about here, right before the 25,000. And that should be a C. 798 times 41. Well, 798 is closer to 800. 41 is closer to 40. When I multiply those two, 8 times 4 is 32, and then I have 3 zeros, 1, 2, 3. That equals 32,000. That won't go on my number line either. The next question is asking me to choose the property that matches these equations. So when I look down here, I'm thinking, is it multiplication or addition? Is it identity, associative, or commutative? So let's look at number 1. 3 times 7 times 2 equals 3 times 7 times 2. Well, the only thing that's different is the grouping. So I know same number, same order, different grouping is the associative property. So it's either going to be C or D. This one shows multiplication symbols, so it's D. Associative property of multiplication. Number 2 shows 42 plus 0 plus 5 equals 42 plus 5. This 0 here tells me that anything plus 0, it keeps the same identity, keeps its same value. So identity would be up here, and does it show addition or multiplication? It's addition, so identity property of addition. Number 3, 6 times 8 times 1 equals 1 times 8 times, 1 times 6 times 8. Well, that shows me that it's multiplying itself by 1. It's keeping its same identity. So that's B, identitive property of multiplication. And number 4, 5 plus 9 plus 3 equals 3 plus 5 plus 9. Well, that one's showing me the same numbers, different order. The grouping is the same. So same numbers, different order is the commutative property, E. All right, down below, questions. Number 1, a technology company wants to relocate to Virginia. Which region is best to start their business in? Well, that region has rolling hills, and it's the land at the foot of the mountains. That's the Piedmont. Number 2, driving through the countryside, you saw a sign that said, "Welcome to the region known as the land at the foot of the mountain." Which region are you in? That one has "ped" as the root word. Number 3, once spring arrives, the Algonquian tribes changed their diet and began to do what 2 things? So in spring, they fished more. They didn't hunt. They did that in the winter. Planting corn, well, they kind of did that in the summertime, but they definitely gathered berries in the spring. From the state of Tennessee, you would travel blank to get to Manassas, Virginia. So if you think of Tennessee and Virginia, they're kind of right there. So what direction would that represent on a compass rose? You go north, south, east, west, right here between north and east. Number 5, Jamestown was chosen because the site could be easily defended from what other country? They were competing against Spain to be the strongest country. Okay, friends, I hope that helped.